Okay, well, like Bonnie said, my name's Lyndsey. I'm originally from Brandon. I graduated from Bloomingdale High School a few years ago. But I went to culinary school, and that's really where I fell in love with cooking. I went on a whim. Hey, maybe this could work. But I wound up really falling in love with food, and I'm especially excited tonight because we have started fall, winter officially, and I love the ingredients that they have to offer during this season. And so tonight's dinner menu for Not Your Mother's Dinner Party are appetizers, hors d'oeuvres, stuff that are easy to pass around, easy for people to come into the kitchen and help out with. I call it Not Your Mother's Dinner Party for the sole reason that every time my mom would have a dinner party, people would come over, everything was set, everything was ready to go, everything was in its place. I'm not like that. I like people in my kitchen and all in my business and picking my brain, asking questions, and I like to put them behind the stove and let them cook as well. So these are really basic, simple recipes that you guys can do for a dinner party and have all your friends over and everybody kind of jumping in and helping out. So hopefully I sampled them right, because I did do that. We're going to go in order and start with this Acorn Squash dip with ginger snaps. This is kind of a play on sweet and salty, and it brings in one of the best ingredients that you can use during this time of season, and that's squash, or gourds, or pumpkins, or whatever you want to call them. They're all in the same family. So I've got an acorn squash. Don't need to wash it. Don't need to worry about the sticker on the outside. We're going to peel that off. I've cut the top and the bottom off. We're going to throw those away in just a minute. And then I'm going to split this in half. And you'll see all the seeds inside. I got my spoon. I'm actually going to throw all this stuff away on here. I'm going to scoop all the seeds out of the middle, just like you were cleaning a regular pumpkin and a cantaloupe. Scoop all that out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the skin off the outside, but I'm going to use a knife just because I'm pretty comfortable with it. If you didn't want to use a knife, you could easily use a peeler. But we're just going to clean these out and take off the outside and use all that good, what they call meat on the inside. The meat of the squash. It's really not meat. But for the outside, I'm going to stand it up on the side like this. That's why we cut off the top and the bottom, so we could have a flat surface. And very carefully, I'm going to take my knife and just go down the outside and peel it just like that. And with this, I know I got an angry look on my face as I'm peeling the squash and cutting it. It's just like a sweet potato. You know how you cut those in half? Or even try to cut them at all, and it is just like the hardest thing you've ever done. And then the funny part about it is it cooks in 2 seconds. It cooks really easily, and I like this for the dip because it gets really nice and creamy and smooth, the texture of it. So I've peeled off the outside, and now I'm going to peel this one, and I'm going to dice these into pretty small squares. Of course, the smaller the square, the quicker it's going to cook. But when I dice these up, I'm also going to cut up a red bell pepper and add this in with the squash. And so I want to make sure that I cut them into pieces that are going to help each other out, and they're all going to cook at the same time. So you don't overcook the squash and the pepper's still crunchy. Those things kind of bother me just as a cook. I'm just saying.
Now, is acorn squash the same as butternut, or is it different?
No, they're different, but basically it's just a different kind of flavor that you're going to get. Most pumpkins I find are pretty much the same texture, but it's just the flavor of the actual squash or pumpkin that's going to be different.
I see.
So I'm going to cut these into little squares. I've already got some cut up in here. And to this I'm going to add my red bell pepper. Now we're going to saute these both together to cook it, and add some heavy cream to cook it down a little bit longer